Hello, Camila.
Hey, hi everyone.
Thank you very much for joining us. You are a member of the cohort of this year's cohort of the Atlantic Dialogue's Emerging Leaders Program. What are your first impressions on Morocco and Marrakesh?
Well, I'm truly impressed at this country. I was here when I was 20 years old. I was studying in Lyon, France, and I came here as a very young girl, almost a backpacker, and I really loved Marrakesh. Then we went to the desert back at the time, and I've seen like it's 13 years from that, and I've seen an amazing development and change. So I'm really surprised at like how fast the city grew, how tidy it is, how vibrant, how nice everyone is here. It strikes me as a very like growing nation and as a very like striving nation. We were at the Polytechnic University today too, and you can see like young people are so engaged and so passionate and so like looking into the future. I'm really like positively impressed by Morocco.
Thank you very much. It's really good to hear that. You are or were until very recently a congresswoman in the Argentinian Congress. And you're still very young, obviously, which makes you in the age range for this program. I wanted to ask you about how you came to politics and also maybe about the gap or, the things that you discovered that could have been different from what your first expectations on politics were. So this whole trajectory of yours.
So I was actually 11 years old when I first got interested by politics. In Argentina, 2001 was a major crisis, socioeconomic and cultural, but basically economic and social crisis. Our poverty went over to 50%, unemployment like really went up high. And I remember my family was a working middle class professionals, like struggling, and everyone was out on the streets. It was a lot of chaos and a lot of sadness. And in my family, we always talked about inequality, but at that time, like I was really struck by the difference of how my family put all of the little money that they saved out of their jobs into education. And one day I was leaving my school with my backpack to have some tea and study. And I found a boy the same age rumbling through garbage to survive. That's what a lot of people were doing that at the time, to sell cardboard. And we looked at each other and I felt immediately, although I was very young, how terribly unfair that was. That we were the same age and we were both supposed to be at school, but our lives were completely different. From then on, I got into social service. I started going to the provinces in the north of Argentina, where rural poverty is really terrible. And I decided that I was going to go into political science when I was 14 years old. So I was very young. I got a lot of scholarships then to go into my secondary school. I got a scholarship to go to the best school in Argentina, which I could not afford. And then I started college in the US out of a scholarship. Then I went to France, and I finally transferred to Argentina because I made up my mind that I wanted to do Argentine politics and work for my country. So as I was studying, which in Argentina is very common to go to university and work at the same time, especially if you need it, I started working at the Ministry of Education in the city of Buenos Aires, where PRO, my party, is originally from. And I quickly also got involved in my party in the youth areas, and I applied to the Fulbright scholarship, and my president won in Argentina, Mauricio Macri. So I ended up not going to Fulbright, and I was appointed National Director of Youth Policies, where I learned a lot and where my journey also was very hectic. And we were representing a lot of young people that were demanding education, jobs, even a lot of self-esteem and mental issues, and basically to be part of society that says you're very important to us and we want to make you grow. So I also got involved. I was chosen to be the president of the youth wing of my party. Then I got elected to council when I was 27. And then at 29, I got to Congress. So it was like a lot. No, I studied political science, and I just finished my master's degree. I need to turn in my thesis in public administration. So it all happened very fast. And I really learned a lot from what I've been doing. And I've always have had this interest in inequality and in how Argentina can prosper as a nation and how we can all do it as one. There's a lot of divide, a lot of polarization. Our poverty is not getting a lot better. We were having the lowest we were was at 25.7 during our government in 2018, but now we're around 40 45. So there's a long way to go. Like that's the my calling. You know, like working with people, not just young people, but with families, to project themselves into a more prosperous country where we can all develop and believe in each other. No, don't see another Argentine as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow together.
So precisely, you have this very inclusive version for the vision, sorry, for the Argentinian society. But polarization seems to be the name of the game, so to speak, right now, at least in Argentina. The last elections actually demonstrated that to an extent, with the level of frustration that was expressed, that was notably channeled through the candidate who ended up being elected, Javier Milei, and with a lot of radical, let's say, recipes or radical, positions vis-à-vis what should be done to fix the Argentinian economy and the Argentinian society. And therefore, there are questions that are being asked in view of his lack of political experience, of his lack of management experience, really in general, of his lack of political party base or institutional political base. There are a lot of questions about the governability of Argentina in the future. I know it might be too early, of course, to ask that question, but you are from the party of President Mauricio Macri, and Mauricio Macri precisely supported the Milei candidate. So I was wondering about what scenarios you had in mind for the ability of the new administration to fix some of the problems that Argentina is experiencing, and about the governability of the country in general as well.
So, well, first thing is people are not usually wrong when they vote, and that is a humility lesson to politics, to traditional politics, because we were novelty. We were new when we started. A lot of us were very young. We had very good intentions, and we had a decent experience in the city of Buenos Aires, but we were new to the political system, and people place a lot of optimism and idealism in us, and we ended up understanding and seeing how much more complex defining the pathway to progress is, and it takes a lot of convincing, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of work to actually do, like, from the smallest policy to design it well and to co-create it well and to actually implement it well and to convince others to keep it up once your government is gone. So we learned that. But it wasn't enough, because we were part of the elections this year and we had two very good candidates that represented different views, but that were together in the same political alliance, that's Juntos por el Cambio, and we lost the elections. So, and the other party, that's a more traditional party, the Peronist Party, also lost the election to Javier Milei. So there's a truth in there. That's people are saying something, and that's a very strong message. A lot of people have stopped believing in the power of politics to solve the eternal coming and going, the inflation rate that's very, very high, the poverty or lack of opportunities, and conflict that's always there and that doesn't let you work like being like just relaxed and just working. There's always conflict to be solved. So a lot of people said, this guy, I don't know him. He seems sometimes very extreme, but we'll give him a try because nothing else has worked. So the diagnosis is not just how we'd made things maybe not the best way, how he did a great campaign, but it's about what people in every single place, in every single province of Argentina feel about what can make Argentina better. So first of all, it's a humility lesson to all of us, and we're listening. We're paying a lot of attention to what's happening. Secondly, hopefully, President Milei will be able to stabilize the economy, which is like the main, I would say like the main hope or the main expectation everyone has is to make the economy more stable. So hopefully that'll happen. It's very hard to do, but like we're all like looking forward to that happening because it's the best for Argentina. And like you said, it's too early. It's only 2 days into the government to see how things are going. But there's a lot of people who worked during our government that are working with him. So we really believe, or we're everyone I think is giving him a reasonable doubt, to see, to not be too judgmental, and to actually be accepting of what people chose, because that's democracy, and we're all agreed on that is the best way to play the game. So we'll see how it goes in terms of governability. Of course, he's gathering a lot of people from our party and from different parties, and that is also a good sign in terms of humility too, right? I heard him say in an interview that Pope Francis told him when he met him, it takes a lot of courage and wisdom to be a good leader. And Milei says, he replied to the Pope, the courage, I have that. The wisdom, I'm working on it. So I really like that quote, because we have a lot of prejudices too against his extremism, or like things that he said that are very different to the consensus that Argentina has. But that attitude, I think, is the right way to actually represent Argentines in these hard times.
Camila, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Hope to see you again sometime soon.